everything in nature seems to have a trajectory, seems to be leading somewhere, right? Stuff starts as one thing, goes through a certain evolution, and ends up as another thing. The only place where it's hard for us to see such a trajectory is in ourselves, because we're in it, right? It's like we're stuck in ourselves. It's hard for us to see where we're going because we're in ourselves. If you could somehow take a step and look at it from above, maybe you'd see something. We argue that maybe among the Jews, and not only among the Jews, among other cultures as well, other traditions, other systems, there were individuals who were able to rise a little bit above that level of existence, call it the egoistic level of existence, and we're able to look down and say, okay, this is moving in this way, and you're still stuck in here and here and here. You're trying to put like little band-aids on this. Oh, let's erase the differences. No, that's not gonna work. Let's just be tolerant. Okay, that's not gonna work. Let's just sue everyone who's not being tolerant. No, let's just try. We're trying different things. It's like, seems like we're not there yet, but it seems like maybe there is a method, perhaps a way to reach that state of love that is being talked about in many places. It's almost like it's in the collective subconscious, but we're not able to get to it. And somehow with the Jews, it's the one group of people whose name implies unity, Yehudi, Yichud. It's implied. It's in the name. It's the people who gathered around Abraham, around the idea of love of the other. And then the one line in the Bible, right, out of this whole Pentateuch, right, love your friend as yourself. One line. Kind of suspicious, if it's one, it's probably very important, right? It's not many times.
I think though, I mean, I hear you. I think that Judaism, or the Jews, I'll call it, say Judaism, has one problem in reaching that particular thing, in that it is making a claim of hierarchical prioritization, that God chose the Jews. God chose the Jews. It doesn't even matter. God chose the Jews.
But forget about any religious interpretation.
No. But let me finish. God, just in terms of its raw, naked,
right.
God chose the Jews to the exclusion of others, right? So there's one God. God created the heaven and the earth. God created all of humanity. And then God comes and says to Abraham and his progeny and Moses and the Jews in the desert, I choose you.
Right.
Now we can talk about interpretations throughout history and how that's understood. That's all, and that's all fine. But that one point, that's why that midrash is actually so insightful, because the midrash is saying, you are chosen, therefore you will be hated. And it seems as it's an incredibly honest appraisal of things.
Very honest, of course.
Right? So it's something that Judaism has not.
So everyone hates us because we have a book that says in our book that somebody says that we're special in our own book. That's why they hate us.
No, and we believe that book is truth. And we believe that book is truth. You need that second part, right?
Okay, so someone gave us a book, and in that book it says we're special, and we believe it. So therefore, everyone else hates us. That's what you're saying?
It's the way in which the favorite child, is resented by the other children. It's a psychological thing. Once you say that the God of heaven and earth chooses you and not me, or chooses you and not anybody else, I mean, there's a kind of natural psychological.
Okay.
I'm not saying this to just. I'm not. We're living in the world of myth, right? I understand. I'm not saying that to justify. I think it's more. If we want to talk about contemporary issues, we really have to talk about the question of supersessionism in Christianity and the role that has. Not that the Jew is hated as they were in Egypt, because other people were hated also. It's that the Jew is uniquely hated. Right, that's the supersessionist argument, because the existence of the Jew in early Christianity or medieval Christianity, the very existence of the Jew problematizes the Christian claim of redemption.
True, but we could just say that let's just wait it out until the Muslims realize that the Christians stand in their way, and they'll duke it out. The problem is that our book also says that they're going to all turn back to us again. That it's not so. We can't just sit it out. Somehow it seems like if we were so insignificant in the system of nature, I'm not talking on the level of myth, on the level of a system of nature, looking at humanity and the world like human body and the cells and organs in it, right? It's a fair comparison. So we have all these different parts running around doing things that, to the naked eye may look random, but when you start to take it apart, you see that, everything is connected and interdependent and influences each other. And maybe there are some different things that some parts need to do for other parts to work. And when before you learn about it, it looks just one bag, right, with everything inside and it's all working. But when you open it up, you see that there's a lot of, right, specific differentiation. What we're
Right.
saying is maybe that being chosen is not, oh, you're so special now, goodbye. No, maybe you're chosen, meaning you have a certain role, certain function that every other function is conditioned upon it. So it's simply a matter of serving that function, and by that you allow the rest of the functions to develop. It's like hormones that the body needs in order to hit puberty. If those hormones are not released, very tiny amount, right?
Yeah.
If they don't get released, the body doesn't hit puberty. Everybody's angry, right?
Yeah.
Or those. So that's kind of our question. Could it be that nature did not eliminate Jews? I'm again speaking in terms of natural systems, right? If something is redundant, it gets rid. The body gets rid of it. Nature gets rid of it. If Jews stayed for so long, and it is quite long. I mean, not in human, Earth evolution, no, but in human evolution, it's pretty long. If we stayed for so long, maybe there is a reason. So we're asking, what is that reason? Could it be tied to that unique hatred? Right. Could people hate us because somehow, subconsciously, even irrationally, they think, oh my God, these people have something to do with my good future.